Hello, Cryptos, fight fans. It's Gregory Stoney watching my Crypt Fight Talk Show. On today's show, we are former Cage Warriors middleweight champion, and yes, that is a decent title. That is a decent promotion for all you fans out there. And current 1-0 UFC middleweight after this past weekend in Berlin, Germany. He is Jack the Joker Hermansson. Jack, welcome to the Crypt Fight Talk Show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure, Jack. So, Jack, you faced off against Scott Askham, obviously a BAMMA middleweight champion, former BAMMA middleweight champion at UFC Hamburg. I want to start with that first and foremost. You obviously had Graham Boylan, Cage Warriors owner there in the crowd, cheering you on, your manager too, in intensity.
Yep.
Did that fight have a vibe of BAMMA versus Cage Warriors in it there for you?
No, I have to just look forward, and now I'm in the UFC, and I don't think so much about the past. So.
Okay, well, Cage Warriors won anyway, so that was props to Cage Warriors there. I did notice on the walkout there, you was smiling away. Obviously, I don't really live up to your nickname, the Joker. I'll get on to that in a second. I wonder why they call you the Joker, but you're always smiling. You're smiling now. You're smiling when you walk out, really enjoying the moment, really enjoying the roar of the crowd, the whole experience. Enjoying the fight as well. You seem to be enjoying the fight. Could you tell us your emotion when you was walking out? Obviously, the UFC is a big deal for someone in your position, a professional fighter. How was the whole feeling to walk out there?
And that was amazing. It was like a feeling I never experienced before. When I was waiting to walk out, I was almost in tears. So I had to rough up a little bit and bite down and walk out there. And the feeling was amazing. It was like electric, Then it gave me a lot of energy, and all the nerves just went out, and I felt great, so I was super happy.
Well, speaking of energy, round one, it was sort of a relaxed round, a feeling that round, it looked that way anyway. Slowly as the fight went on in round one, you seemed to take a hold of the fight. Both of you seemed very comfortable, confident. Scott seemed confident anyway, in your demeanour, your composure anyway. I did notice as the fight went on, you started to take a hold of the fight, grab a hold of the fight. You was getting the better of the exchanges, mainly the oblique kicks, obviously because he was in a southpaw stance. They was working to your effect there, and the round kicks coming up high to the body. But did you feel yourself taking over the fight near the end of round one? And did you notice a little of Scott's confidence go? Because his facial expression, it seemed to change a little bit. He seemed to lack a little confidence. Obviously, you staring dead on into his face. Did you notice a little confidence go from his eyes, from his facial expressions? And did you feel yourself taking over the fight late round one?
Yeah, as you said, it was a little bit of filling out process. And when he tried to come forward and attack, I stopped him with the oblique kicks to the front leg. And I think that really irritated him and frustrated him. So it was like kind of a changing moment, because when I continued with that, he started to hesitate, and then I could apply more pressure myself. So definitely I felt like in the end of the first round, I knew that I was going to come out a little bit better in the next.
You mentioned that you frustrated him there with the oblique kicks. Was that to stifle his offense? Obviously, I think it did stifle his offense. He couldn't really get off on you. Did help you manage the range and stay at his range, obviously, his attempts. But we know with oblique kicks, obviously, with John Jones, with Smith against Rashad Evans, etc., he uses them for mainly damage as well, not just to keep his opponents away from him, but damage. I would assume that you used the oblique kicks because Scott did come out in a southpaw stance, and that was the main goal. But did you get the maximum effect? Was you happy with the results of the oblique kicks overall during the fight?
I think I could have put a little bit more into it, but I spoke with my coach like before the fight, and he didn't want me to overcommit to make damage, because if I missed, I could easily go into his left cross. So that was it was actually planned that I was just gonna stop him with it and not make too much damage with it.
Well, you talked about the right cross there. You didn't want to get in the range of it. He was pulling at his lead hand, I noticed, for the fight. Could you tell me the reason for that? You see that a lot in fighters when they got a southpaw versus orthodox. There's a lot of powering going on with the lead hand. Could you tell us the reason for that, please?
Yes, I think it's the same reason for both of us, because he wants me to go to the other way, so he doesn't want me to circle towards his front leg. So okay. I think he likes stretch it out there and trying to threaten a little bit with it, feeling out the distance, maybe throw in a small hook in there and want me to circle to the other side. And myself, I'm putting it out there to because I want him to reach. When he reaches for my hand, it opens up in the middle, and I can throw in my jab or my cross there. So I just use it to more as a distraction and as a tool to open him his guard up.
Okay. I did notice when you got Scott against Cage, just pressed him against Cage. Obviously, he was there with the lead left hook, stop him circling to the right. When he circled to the left, he was there with a round body kick. Was you happy with stifling Scott's movement in the fight against Cage, stopping him from circling, and really allowing yourself to tee off against him and clinch up against Cage with Scott?
It was all right. Now after the fight, I would probably have preferred to box a little bit more in there, maybe through more body shots and mix it up a little bit. But as soon as I was going to commit, he was moving or he was clinching, or so I didn't really got the yeah, like a perfect chance to do anything in there. But we ended up to be very close, and that went to me using the uppercuts instead.
Well, you talked about the upcuts there. When you did clinch up against Cage, you created the more damage on Scott Askham. You caused the most damage. The wrestling, Scott's known for his wrestling against Cage. He's known for his submissions. You saw that with him wrapping up your leg for the knee bar, etc. We went for the trip takedowns. I'll talk about in a second. But it was sort of a 50-50 battle against Cage. That was my perception of the fight anyway. But obviously you caused the most damage. You did take the fight to the cage more than Scott did. Was that because you was having the more damage with the tie clinch, with the dirty boxing, the uppercuts, etc.? Was that the reason for taking it back to the cage? Obviously, because in round one you wasn't so much near the cage, but later on in the fight, round two, round three, you took it more towards the cage. Was that just a perfect strategy because you was basically you felt like the fight that was going in your favour near the cage, so you just took it back there instead of sticking with a normal game plan, or maybe just advancing your strategies in the fight?
It was mostly because I have worked during fight camp to get into the clinch, which is usually a strong position of mine, and also a strong position of his. But I thought my advantage would be bigger there, so I was planning to take him down from there and ride on top. And I had a hard time get that going in there, so I tried again and again. And probably I should have just bailed on it and just boxed, and I would probably have maybe even better results. But it was all the training that made me go back there and try.
Well, let's talk about the trip though, because obviously you did nearly land a knee bar on you. Obviously you got the figure four leg lock in to prevent it, but when you take the back control there, you go for the inside trip. You want your opponent to land on all fours and you behind him so you can begin to put the hooks in or whatever it may be, one hook in and look for some ground and pound. Obviously, you failed halfway. It's sort of like a half-handed trip. You both landed on your butts. With that, you sort of left your foot in there, your leg in there, and you managed to lock on the knee bar. Obviously, you was instantly aware of that and locked up the figure four. Again, when you started working towards the back against the cage, he was taking his back against the cage, and even before you could get the trip takedown, he was sort of tying up your leg and trying to whip for the knee bar from there and lock you up. How happy was you with the trip takedowns? Did you want to sort of abort them during the fight because they wasn't working out so well? Or do you sort of expect that? Because against someone like Scott Askham, it was a grueling fight up against the cage as well. Obviously, you start to get tired. You can't land every single trip takedown you want to land, every single takedown you want to land. It's a grueling process. Was you happy with the trip takedowns? Was you a little bit upset that you got your knee caught in there, you got your leg caught in there? How did you assess the old trip takedown method of attack?
I was a little bit frustrated ending up in the wrong position, and it wasn't a really good attempt. So it's just like more like I just want him down, And I thought that if I just could get him to the ground, I would dominate. But he
Yeah.
was like he was good there as well, so it wasn't that easy. So I just did poor takedowns attempts, but just to get it to the ground basically. And I did like the same thing twice, and we ended up in the same position. So it wasn't maybe the smartest move, but fortunately I could work my way out from there.
On my scorecard, I had you winning all three rounds. Quite a comfortable fight for you. Obviously, he was very good defensively, give you a good scrap. But overall, how did you rate your performance in UFC debut there against Scott Askham? A very tough opponent, might I add, as well, for the listeners.
Yeah. Um, like my dream when I have my first UFC fight is to make a good finish that people can remember. And I have gotten a good response after fights from fans and so on, but I can't, I have to think back and think that I should have finished that fight. So I will see what I can improve and try to bring that with me for next one.
I wanted to ask you this ages ago, but I never got around to it. Carlos Moore, you took him on, obviously UFC veteran, big name in the London area from UCMA, etc. Took the belts there. Did you break his arm in that fight? Because it did look like you broke his arm in that fight. I never knew, it never actually officially came out whether you broke his arm or not. I'm not sure. Did you break his arm in that fight?
I am not sure myself. Has been a lot of speculations there, but I felt like there were some tension in the arm, and suddenly it went like very very soft. So it felt a little bit weird, but I didn't hear it crack. He screamed a lot for sure. It was like a verbal tap out. So it was he screamed. He had some pain, but I'm not sure if I broke it or not.
If
So
you didn't look if you didn't look in the armbar against him, obviously we know that he likes to grind it out. He just constantly grinding it for 3 rounds. He's got the cardio for days. Was you expecting a tough fight if you didn't get the early submission against him?
Yeah, I was hoping to maybe use a little bit more circling around in the stand-up and catch him when he was going in for the takedown. So that was the original game plan.
Okay. Before we leave, Jack, I'd like to leave the mic open to you to just say anything you want to say, leave any messages. Obviously, I'll leave you a bunch of set questions here. I just want you to give your thoughts. Anything you want to say about the fight, maybe mentions, thanks, sponsors, anything you want to say to the fans. Go ahead. Feel free to say whatever you want to say there, Jack.
Yeah, I'll just use my opportunity to say thanks to the fans and continue to buzz around me out there. And I'm just happy whenever you're watching my fights or talking about me, good or bad, it doesn't matter. I'm super happy. Thank you for the attention.
One last question before you go away, Jack. You mentioned in your post-fight interview there, when you was in the octagon, you said that you want a more experienced opponent next. How soon do you think it'll be before you start breaking into that top 15? Is that a goal of yours too, to break into that top 15, maybe come 2017 or so?
Definitely. I would love to, in every fight, go against a more experienced opponent. And if they give me that opportunity, and if I win, it won't take me much longer than a year, hopefully.
Okay. All right, Cryptos, that's a wrap for today's show. From Jack Hermansson, myself, Gregory Stone. Thank you for watching.
Hello, Cryptos! My name's Madcap Billy. Now, Madcap Billy been watching this shitty show today. And I gotta say, I came up with a joke. Not as big a joke as the show, but a joke. Now, Madcap Billy's gonna put it to you. What's the difference between Berlin and Hamburg? Well, take a fucking guess then. You get it? The answer is, it doesn't matter if your name's called Big Fat Greg, does it? Now, learn your geography, Gregory, before you go on the show and start blubbering out words. Madcap Billy, over and out. I'll see you soon,